What's going on, folks? I am Goat. Welcome back to Warframe. So I am literally, I've been sick as a fucking dog since just after shooting the Soma video. And I shot the Burston video, but I was losing my voice and I sounded like, I don't know, Boxcar Willie. Probably the best way to put it. My voice still hasn't recovered all the way because my throat just got destroyed. But I absolutely wanted to get this shot before vacation, and I only have a couple of days till I'm leaving for vacation, and this was on my to-do list. Now, I can tell you that the next two weapons that I've already picked are the Xylock and the Dread. We will get into those, at least from my perspective, after I come back from vacation. From your perspective, just a couple of videos away. One's good, one is... I'm just going for bugged, because I don't know. But, we're not here to talk about that. Our last video was depression. Our last video didn't make any fucking sense. The Soma Prime. So the Incarnon Genesis for the Soma, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. A whole bunch of boosted statistics on the primary side of the gun, but the Incarnon side is nerfed to shit. Still kills, still does the job, but not amazingly in any fucking way. Now, the other reason that I am reshooting this, aside from the raspy-ass terrible voice, is that a little disclaimer about the Soma in here, that the dev stream has already happened, and they said that they're going to be looking into the Incarnon side of the Soma because of the massive amount of complaints to the weapon, and it's rightfully so. But this one, we're here to talk about the Burston Prime. Specifically the Incarnon Genesis, obviously, for the Burston Prime. Now, this used to be one of probably the worst burst fire weapons in this fucking game. Status-based, low numbers across the board, and everybody pretty much hated this fucking thing, and somehow it still made it into the trailer with Excalibur Prime during one of the Prelude to War videos. I think it's the Era video. God. Like, I see the gun and I'm like, really, y'all couldn't have chosen anything else other than one of the worst fucking rifles in this game. Well, now there's a disclaimer to that because this is now one of the best rifles in this fucking game. Spoiler alert. So here we are. Obviously, first Incarnon is easy. This one is really up to you. I choose this because I like to run Lavos quite a bit, and obviously you see this thing is on Lavos, and it's actually been on Lavos for most of this time. So with armor over 450, you get a +2 punch through on top of the increased damage by 42, which is cool. Now my armor is 2066 with this build, so I'm pretty sure I meet that criteria easily. So that's Evolution 2. The other one, I can't even remember what the other one is, but this just fits my upfront damage scenario. The next one, minus recoil. Now, this is really wide open for whatever the fucking level of interpretation you feel like using. The Burston doesn't have a ton of recoil, but honestly, I don't want to feel any at all with this thing. So, minus recoil is the way I went with this. The final one, increased critical chance by 22%. Now, I'm going to show you a basic build that does pretty fucking good, okay? But then I'm going to put my Riven on this motherfucker and just break this damn gun. Okay, so the build. Again, you'll see hammer shot. You don't have to run hammer shot. You can run fucking any goddamn thing else you want. I've already had a couple of people very derogatorily come after me about running hammer shot so much because it's just not that good. There's other ways to do it, okay? There really is. And like, you can see the other two build names. Scoped heat, scoped crit, right? So... but this is the basic build. Riven disposition of 5, I can promise you that's going to go down. But on the primary side of this gun, bunch of crit. Okay, decent critical multiplier thanks in between Vital Sense and Hammer Shot, because Hammer Shot is status and critical damage, as I've said before. So having a 5 multiplier just on the primary side of this gun, 100 munitions, is obviously a very friendly thing to put in here. And then having 3 60/60s on this son of a bitch helps keep the status up as well. So, not a bad deal. You don't have to put anything more than 3 7-point mods, and the forma for one of those is actually both those forma are there for a completely different fucking reason. So obviously this build does not require 5 forma. Easy enough, right? But then we go to the Incarnon side of the baby build, okay? And I mean to tell you, the radial attack on this is so strange, just so you know. The radial attack is only 2 meters and it has a 100% fall off, which means basically it halves the damage the moment it gets outside of that 2-meter range. So unless these guys are basically standing next to each other, the radial attack is really weird. And Prime Fulmination does jack shit to this. Or is it Fulmination? I think it's Fulmination, isn't it? I always get them fucked up, man. Because there's one for pistols, Prime Firestorm. So, like, Prime Firestorm really does, like, jack diddly shit, okay? Ooh, 0.88 meters. Ain't worth it, okay? My personal opinion. You want to put it on there, you do you. But the numbers on this aren't bad. Okay? This will absolutely do the job. This will get you yellow and orange crits easy. It will be proccing enemies. 100 munitions will be kicking off like a son of a bitch left and right. And by the way, it's got 600 fucking Incarnon rounds at a fire rate of 16. So this thing's like really good. This is like in between the Fenmore and the DAYUM, because it does have an AoE that the Fenmore doesn't. It's small, not like the Fenmore, but it's got a shit ton of bullets that do a bunch of fucking damage like the Fenmore. So just like in the grand scheme, it's not quite as powerful, but my god, this thing does some meaty fucking damage, especially when you get some semi-busted shit. Now, my semi-busted shit is this Riven. Now, the slash has absolutely nothing to do with the Incarnon side, but it's on the upfront side. But 207.5 critical chance with electricity, which means basically I'm turning this thing into a viral electric weapon on the Incarnon side, because it's heat-based, like a lot of these other Incarnon Genesis weapons. And the minus damage to Corpus, when the red crits flow on this fucking thing quite easily, it does not give a shit if it's Corpus. You'll see some blue and then all of a sudden red kicks in. It don't care. So all of a sudden, we go to this. 203% critical chance. Still with a 5 multiplier, still at a 90% status. Yeah. And then Incarnon side, 253.7% critical. Now, I'm going to show you the viral heat and then the scoped crit, because there's kind of a reason behind this. Excuse me, behind this. As you can tell, I haven't quite recovered. And we'll get into it. So the scoped heat is exactly as it says, okay? Galvanized scope for critical chance stacking, bladed rounds, critical damage, buff from hell, hammer shot to help that critical damage from the bottom end. And with this being electricity, this actually turns, because I did re-roll after I did this, so this really should have been scoped radiation. So this build's kind of stupid with the way that this Riven re-rolled, okay? Which is the other reason why I'm reshooting, because I re-rolled it and realized that I kind of broke the gun. So this build is probably going to get redone, so I really wouldn't worry about this build so much. But this fucking build is a whole different ballgame. Now again, you can just run thermite rounds, okay? Now I'm going to run my broken shit, but I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter if you run your broken shit, if you happen to have a Riven, or if you don't have a Riven and you just have thermite rounds, because this thing will red crit its dick off. But yeah, but there's a problem, right? Like, I have a particular issue with galvanized scope and bladed rounds and any of these sighting in mods, because they leave you very vulnerable if you have to stay sighted in. Like galvanized scope wants you to stay sighted in for 12 seconds. And you have to, on a headshot kill for plus 44% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds. Stacks up to 5 times. So you basically just have to stay scoped to get that. Bladed rounds is the same thing. 120% critical damage when aiming for 9 seconds. So this is actually shorter than galvanized scope. But it's a very specific playstyle. So you kind of want some tankier frames if you're going to use this motherfucker. And we're going to show both builds. Like, I'm going to show this build on the short term, and then I'm going to just show you the regular viral heat build that I use all the way up to an Acolyte. Because the scoped build is pretty fucking obvious, okay? Like, it's going to really just throw down and fuck some shit up. Should I? You know what? Where's the fortress? Let's just be stupid, right? Let's just be stupid. I never do the fortress. Always do Ani. Or Mott. The only reason, honestly, that I don't do Mott, and I've said it before, is just because Captain Vor loves showing up and being an asshole and doing his long-ass minute-long speech.
Scans show Grineer are harvesting Kuva nearby. Set off the alarms to draw them out.
Yeah.
Then
So we're just going to get
Kuva
a kind of a taste test of this one.
Predictable. As expected, Grineer have shut down the environmental systems, sending modified life support capsules. Use these to sustain your environment or attach Kuva.
We all know I suck at headshots, so let's not even have that discussion. I mean, like, really? Probably get some of my health back. Squatting doesn't really help my life, does it? I mean, basically aim high and let the chips fall where they may, because it's death. Now, I could run thermite rounds, and instead of radiation procs, it'll just be heat procs. But really? Like, really? Now, I am going to do Ani for the next mission, and there's a reason. Because apparently, I thought Corrupted Faction, and this may just be me being stupid, but I thought Corrupted Faction was a faction all on its own as far as its own damage scale. But the beauty is that with going into Corrupted, when you shoot at the Corpus guys who've been corrupted, that minus to Corpus, you'll see it comes into play for a moment. Like, you'll see a couple of blue hits. So I do want to show this Riven against some Corpus too. So obviously, the scoped critical build is just an absolute nuker of a build. This thing is just a fucking good time all the way around. It really is. But this is just a viral heat, which is actually viral radiation because of my Riven, because I just never renamed it and I'm a lazy ass. Yeah, so slightly lower level. I mean, we're talking 12 levels lower. It's no big deal. It's like going from Draco to like fucking Uranus. It's really no big deal.
Accept your death, and you may yet avoid it.
Either way, they're gonna fuck your ass up if you know, do the whole game of fuck around and find out.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
There is a sanctuary target.
I was about to say, I didn't see the headshot meter pop up. Hello?
Track it with the synthesis scanner. Don't let it escape.
Well, apparently the enemies are at a minimum. What the fuck? Now, funny enough, the bullets do travel fast enough. Yeah, so you'll see the Corpus guys getting nailed in there with blues. It doesn't matter, they still die. So he takes some blue and then he gets just critted to death. Now, I don't need to say scope for this at all. I can just hip shot this motherfucker and just have a good old time. So this is what happens when you get the busted shit. Now, if you do the thermite rounds, you're going to see a lot of yellow and orange crits. Aim high on this one, you're going to see a lot of red crits. Like, if I scope in, actually try to aim for their fucking heads, you'll see the blue pop in because of the negative on the Riven, and then all of a sudden it's red crits for days. Okay, you know what? Let's just build that back up. Fuck you. I think I blew his arm off. As much as the Soma was depressing, this thing is anything but. Like, this thing is just a fucking monstrosity. But see, with my Riven, I don't have to run around all scoped in. I just murder everything. Buddy. It's like, I actually made sure to leave my companion off just for this video. because I didn't want the companion armor stripping the fucking acolyte, because those goddamn cats just kind of do their own thing sometimes. These guys. Buddy? Oh, really? Alright, who's in for the party? Now the funny thing is if you play the game of fuck around and find out with an acolyte, on the scout build, you can actually get your ass killed if you ain't careful. Like, if you don't stay mobile. Like, I think it's Mania and Angst will just come up and fucking stab your ass to death. Good times. Like, I know, I just showed like this monster crit build, and then I'm over here doing like some reds. But see, this is my fun build. And again, I like to show Rivens, and then I like to show, you know, or at least discuss what you can do with the builds. It's like the Soma, you know, I mean, same kind of deal. I've got a Riven for the Soma. That doesn't make the Soma Incarnon amazing, but we can talk about how you can do something at least similar to the build. If you're all scoped in, you get these melee dickheads that come running in behind you. They're like, hey, how you doing? Hey, girl. Yeah, that's a bad day. Well, that was a fun little visual bug, wasn't it? Cool. Now we get a friend. Okay, you guys are gonna be in the way. Fuck out of here.
Extraction is available if you need it.
I mean, just burst and go burr. I don't really know what else to say about that. This thing is fun. All the different kinds of builds that I've tried to throw at this thing, and I have yet to be disappointed. Like, you can do some fairly solid underperforming builds that will still kill. But they turn out kind of like the Soma, to where you almost feel depression, but unlike the Soma, the Incarnon side still just kicks ass and takes names. So yeah, good times.
And so
I mean, the Burston. What can we say about the Burston? It's really fucking good. I mean, like, it is really fucking good. So, and I know it's coming, like, basically, this will probably be posting around its second rotation time, so if you didn't pick it in the first, I would hope that you chose it in the second with all the hype and hoopla that people have already been posting on Reddit and everything else about this motherfucker. This thing is really good. So, yeah. So, folks, on that note, I do want to thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys later, all right?